After posting several videos about the collapse of GVE London, I noticed many viewers asking the same question: where is George? Honestly, I was wondering the same thing. George Gehdu wasn't just another employee. For years, he was the recognizable face of GVE, the sales director who appeared in countless videos standing next to Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and McLarens. To many, he was the reason they trusted the brand in the first place. But when GVE's world suddenly fell apart, George seemed to vanish from the spotlight. Angry customers crowded the showroom, headlines spoke of administrators being called in, and the once glamorous supercar dealership spiraled into chaos. Yet the man who had once been front and center was nowhere to be seen. So, where did he go? Did he leave the company, step away from the mess, or was he still caught in the middle of it all? In this video, I'll share what I found after digging through official statements, court documents, and George's own words. By the end, we'll have a clearer answer to that burning question: where is George now? To understand why so many people are asking about George, we need to go back to how he became such a central figure at GVE London. George Gehdu joined the company during its rise as one of the capital's go-to destinations for supercars. From the beginning, he wasn't behind the scenes. He was out front, greeting customers, presenting cars, and ultimately becoming the public face of GVE's sales team. As sales director, George's role wasn't just to close deals. He became part of the brand's image. If you scroll through GVE's YouTube channel or Instagram feed over the years, you would see George front and center, enthusiastically introducing the latest Lamborghini Huracan or walking viewers around a rare Ferrari. His energy and confidence made these videos feel professional yet approachable, giving GVE credibility at a time when social media presence mattered as much as the showroom itself. For many clients, George wasn't just an employee, he was GVE. Customers often mentioned him by name, recalling the smooth experience of dealing directly with someone who seemed both knowledgeable and passionate about cars. His personality built a bridge between the glamorous world of supercars and everyday enthusiasts watching online. This visibility set George apart from most dealership employees. Unlike anonymous salesmen, he was recognized, remembered, and sometimes even idolized, which is why, when GVE started to stumble, so many eyes immediately turned to him. As GVE London expanded its presence in the competitive world of luxury cars, George's visibility grew in lockstep. The dealership invested heavily in social media, producing slick videos that showcased rows of exotic machines gleaming under showroom lights. And, almost without fail, it was George who stood beside them, guiding viewers through every curve, engine roar, and detail. This wasn't accidental. George had a natural charisma on camera, the ability to make a 200,000-pound Lamborghini sound both aspirational and within reach. He smiled easily, spoke with confidence, and seemed genuinely excited about each vehicle he presented. For an industry often accused of being intimidating or elitist, George brought accessibility. He made GVE feel like more than a dealership. He made it feel like a community. The strategy worked. GVE's YouTube videos racked up hundreds of thousands of views, drawing in car enthusiasts worldwide. Locals came to the showroom not just to see the cars, but to meet the man they had watched online. Customers handed over their cars on sale or return deals, trusting that the exposure through George's presentations would bring quick buyers. His presence became part of GVE's brand identity. Other sales staff may have rotated in and out, but George remained constant, the salesman you could count on, the face you expected to see in every new video. For some, he even embodied the success story of GVE, a dealership that wasn't just selling cars, but selling an image of trust and glamour. Yet this close association was a double-edged sword, because when the company faltered, the public didn't think first of the owner or the administrators. They thought of George. The turning point came in the late summer of 2025. For years, GVE had projected stability and success, but cracks in the foundation finally became impossible to ignore. In August, the company filed a notice of intention to appoint administrators, a clear sign that serious financial trouble was unfolding behind the glossy videos and showroom floor. Within days, the story was everywhere. Headlines in outlets like Car Dealer Magazine and The Sun reported on GVE's precarious situation. Customers who had placed their supercars on sale or return agreements began showing up at the West London facility, demanding answers, and more importantly, demanding their vehicles back. The once pristine dealership, known for its polished image, now became the scene of heated confrontations. Police were even called to the premises to manage disputes between furious owners and the company. For those who had only known GVE through its polished online persona, the contrast was shocking. Videos of dream cars and smiling salesmen were replaced by stories of stalled payments, missing funds, and an uncertain future. The dealership, which once embodied trust and luxury, was now under the control of administrators tasked with trying to salvage whatever value remained. And in the midst of it all, one name kept surfacing in conversations among customers and viewers alike: George. He was the one they remembered most vividly from the good years, the man they saw representing the brand time and time again. Now, with the company in freefall, people naturally asked, where was George in all of this?
As speculation swirled, George Gehdu finally broke his silence. Facing a wave of criticism online and even personal threats, he turned to social media and the press to clarify his position. For many, this was the first time they heard directly from him since the crisis began, and his words painted a very different picture from the assumptions circulating among frustrated customers. George explained that he was not, and had never been, the owner of GVE London. He stressed that he held no shares in the business, no financial control, and no power over the decisions that had driven the company into administration. His official title was Sales Director, a role that put him in front of the camera and in contact with clients, but left him outside the boardroom where critical financial choices were made. He expressed gratitude to David Ray, the man identified as the sole owner of GVE, but also made it clear that his own responsibilities ended at selling cars and maintaining relationships. The crisis, he emphasized, was beyond his control. In fact, George admitted that he, too, had been blindsided by the severity of the company's financial collapse. Still, his visibility made him an easy target. Customers associated him with the brand, and in the absence of clear communication from ownership, they turned their frustration on the face they remembered most. George acknowledged the toll this had taken, noting that he had received an alarming number of hostile messages and accusations, even though he lacked the authority to resolve the core issues. By speaking out, George sought to protect his reputation. He didn't deny the anger of customers or the chaos of the situation, but he firmly placed responsibility where it belonged, with the company's leadership and financial decision-makers, not the employees fronting the showroom. So, after all the speculation, where is George today? According to official reports and his own statements, George Gehdu is still with GVE London in the capacity of sales director. He has not disappeared, nor has he fled the country as some rumors suggested. Instead, he remains tied to a company now under administration, where operations are heavily restricted and the future is uncertain. What this means in practice is that George's role looks very different from the past. The high-energy promotional videos have stopped. The showroom floor, once buzzing with potential buyers and exotic cars, has grown quiet. With administrators in control, the dealership's focus has shifted from sales and marketing to unraveling its debts and obligations. George, once the visible symbol of growth, is now caught in the shadow of a failing business. For many employees, being in a company under administration means waiting. Waiting to see if a buyer will rescue the firm, if creditors will be repaid, or if the doors will close for good. George is no exception. He may still be listed as sales director, but the title carries little weight when the company's future hangs by a thread. This leaves him at a crossroads. Will he stay loyal to the brand he helped bring into the spotlight, even as it struggles for survival? Or will he eventually step away, perhaps leveraging his personal reputation to rebuild independently in the luxury car world? These questions remain unanswered, but one thing is clear. George hasn't vanished. He's still here, just no longer in the glamorous spotlight that once defined him. In the end, the question, "Where is George?" has a straightforward answer. He's still at GVE London, but the context has completely changed. Once the smiling face of a thriving dealership, George now finds himself overshadowed by the company's financial collapse and the cloud of administration. His story is a reminder of how quickly public perception can shift and how employees can become symbols of problems they never controlled. For viewers and customers who associated him so closely with the GVE brand, it's easy to see why confusion turned into frustration. Yet the facts are clear. George was not the owner, not the decision-maker, and not the one steering GVE into crisis. He is, in many ways, another casualty of the dealership's downfall. So the real question isn't just about where George is now, but where he will go next. Should he stay and try to rebuild trust from inside a company under administration, or step out and carve a new path for himself? I'd like to hear your thoughts. If you were in George's position, what would you do? Stay loyal to a sinking ship, or start fresh somewhere new?